Good morning, everyone, and welcome to a regular Wednesday class. It's a very rainy Norwich today. Just heard the clock strike the hour. Yes, okay, we'll go straight ahead and get straight into the exercises. As you know, we tend to have a bit of a format. We tend to check in with ourselves for the first 5-10 minutes, and then we're going to do some exercises based on what you need as things develop and as your needs develop. Okay, so I'm going to do a little bit different this time because I've got a questionnaire, a little poll to see if we can zero in on which meridians are most affecting you right now. Okay, last few weeks we've been working on really connecting with yin and yang, and we've been working on really getting that foundation to keep us calm and working on the burners and the nervous system. So we're going to extend that today. So what I'd like to do is I'm just going to show the slides and we'll go through the sequence. Okay, so it is the weekly support meeting here. We're going to find out how you're doing, tune into the zones. We're going to tune into your burners, and then I've got a theme this week. We're going to try and figure out which meridians are affecting the group of you most as situation stresses develop. And we've been seeing changes in the clinic that we'd like to work on. Okay, so let's find out how you are. I'm just going to run the stress questionnaire, just find out how you're coping generally. So just let us know if you're coping well, you're okay, neutral, or whether you're feeling a bit stressed or very stressed, and we'll just get a kind of feeling for where you are as a group. Okay, and I think we've seen a bit of a change over the last few weeks as the second wave sort of really starting to roll now. We're going to try and help you out. Those of you just feeling neutral or stressed, of which there are over half of you, let's try and get you into a more positive state in the next hour. Okay, so that was the poll. And if you remember, we've got this the 3 zones we're interested in, and we're going to map those today again to the meridians. So let's just take a moment and just reflect on ourselves and just see whether we feel we're generally in the green zone, engaged socially as much as we can be, whether we're open, in the present, or grounded, or whether we're going into that red zone. Those of you who are, those 30% of you who are saying that you're stressed, probably going into that red zone, where you just getting a feeling of activation of the nervous system. Nothing wrong with that. We need that to survive. But what we don't want to do is to get to a point where we're overwhelmed and we go into the blue zone. That's when we start getting depressed, shut down. It's very easy to do with the coronavirus because we lack a lot of that social interaction that mammals need to keep them in the green zone. It's the way the nervous system works. There's no shame at all in going into that blue zone. It's just your nervous system telling you that it can't cope. And that's what these Wednesday classes are about. They're about us keeping us moving, being able to move back into that green zone. Okay, so I'll just run the zone poll and just reflect on whether you think you're in the green zone most of the time, in the red zone most of the time, blue zone most of the time, or usually most people are in a mixture. So you may be green and red, but then if you're going from red into blue, then that's it's okay. But as long as you can get back into that red zone. Okay, now look at this. We're definitely seeing, and I've seen that with the clients I've been seeing the last week or two, that there's definitely an increase in people getting into that blue zone more often than we'd like. Okay, so we're going to do something a little bit different. I'm going to find out from you in a moment which meridians are basically mainly being affected by the stress. And we're going to do that with a questionnaire on how you're feeling. But before we do that, let's get into the, we've done the poll. Okay, we've got this. Now we need the 3 heater exercise. So I hope you've got pen and paper ready. I'll just turn my webcam off for a second so that you can concentrate on the 3 zones in your body. I'll just remind you what, go any further, okay? We have the lower heater here, the lower zone here, which includes the bladder, It links up into the kidneys. We have the middle heater here, okay? And we have the upper heater here, which is the lungs and the heart area, okay? So it's really worth spending a couple of minutes a week, I think, tuning in and finding out how we're feeling in those three zones. So let me get my slides up. I'll just take this off and I'll just bring the slides back up again. Okay, so let's just tune into our lower burner. You might want to put your hand there, or you might just want to just bring your mind into that lower burner. Let's just spend a moment tuning into that area. Okay, we ask ourselves, what is that like? What is that feeling in that lower burner like? Okay, now if you've got a piece of paper and a pencil, like I've got here, just draw in or write some words there into that lower burner there, okay? Because what we're going to do later is we're going to map the burners against, or map them to the main meridian groups or the elements in Chinese medicine. So let's get this information first. Okay, excellent, right? So now we're going to tune in again and tune into your middle burner. That's below the ribs and to the navel. And close your eyes, close your eyes, and let's just tune into that area. Okay, and just ask yourself, what is that like? What's that like? Draw or write in our middle burner area. Okay, and you might be able to remember previous weeks, see how you're doing. How's it been changing over the last few weeks? Excellent. Okay, so that's the middle burner. Right, so now we're going to go on to the upper burner. Remember, that's the whole lungs and heart area. Turn my camera off so that we can focus on that. So let's just close our eyes and tune into our upper burner. Okay, now what is that like? Okay, now we can draw upper burner area. And just to remind you, ideally the lower burner should feel quite calm, quite solid. The middle burner, the thing to watch out for is any obstruction, like any blockages or feeling of tightness. That should be an open kind of feeling. And the upper burner should feel kind of calm, open, and very spacious. You don't want any contraction there. And particularly what you don't want in any of these burners is a lot of heat, okay, which can happen as we get stressed. So if you notice any kind of obstruction or weakness or heat in any of the burners, maybe you'd like to vote for us working or focusing on them this week. So let me just share the burner poll, okay, and then we'll just see. The last few weeks we've had a very strong movement. I won't say what it is because I don't want to influence your voting this week, but let's just have a look. Yeah, it looks pretty consistent. In fact, I think it's a bit stronger even than last week. We've actually got a really strong focus there on the middle burner as a group. But obviously we're going to work on all three burners, but that gives us an idea of how the whole second wave is affecting us. Okay, which brings us on to my special question this week. I want you to take a little bit of time to think about these 5 options. You're probably going to feel you experience all of them, but what I'd like to know is which one of these is the tendency that you have when you're stressed. And that means when you tend to go into the red zone and then maybe even into the blue zone, okay? And I'm going to just run that poll. Right, okay. Let's just see if this is the right one. Yes, okay, there's 5 emotional states here that I'd like you to think about. I'm going to read them through. Before you vote, let me read them through to you, okay? Right, so when you feel stressed, do you mainly tend to feel, and wait until I've read them all, worried or anxious, kind of anxious and worried, okay, irritable or angry, sad or upset, okay, or fearful, or a feeling of detached, or a feeling of being in kind of like in shock. So it's like worried or anxious, irritable, angry or frustrated, okay, sad or upset, fearful or detached. You probably feel all of these, but let's just see which is the most prevalent in the group. And what we can do then is we can explore how that maps to the burners. We can go a little bit deeper into using the meridian exercises and the Qigong exercises to really target where you need. And I'll show you how you can do that. Okay. Right, now this is very interesting because each of these emotional states relate to the 5 elements and to the meridians. And I can give you a little bit more background maybe in following weeks about how they link, okay? Basically, what we've got here is we've got 40, 60, we've got well over half of you, 65, 67 of you tend to feel worried or anxious or irritable or angry or frustrated. And those 2 emotional groups are related to the middle burner because they're related to the liver and related to the stomach, okay? The stomach energy. So what I propose that we do is we do a full 3 heater thing. We'll go over the main meridians that we do each week, because some of you are obviously in the need the lower and upper heater, and other meridians worked. And everything works as a system anyway. But what we'll do is we will focus on the middle burner, and I'll take you through in the latter part of the exercises a complete sequence for the stomach and spleen, because that's the most common one that it's hit, and I'll show you how you can do that as a complete sequence. Okay, but I'll also put in quite a lot of liver related exercises as well, liver and gallbladder. So we'll address those things. And then we'll bear in mind those of you who feel sad and upset, that's more related to the lungs. Fearful is related to the kidneys and the adrenal system. And that detached feeling, or that shock feeling, is related more to the heart. So if you've got sad or upset, fearful or detached, then we'll address that with the lungs, the upper heater and the lower heater. Really glad that the fearful one is not that high, because the fearful one is directly related to the adrenal system and the lower burner. And we've done loads of work on that since the beginning of lockdown. Every single week we've been doing that lower burner exercise. And I hope that that's helped keep us all out of getting that real fear, apart from just that one person that we're going to look after there in that situation. Okay, so let's go. Lots of really good information. I'll try and tie it together as we go through the exercises. Okay, so let's go. Right, I'm going to get back here and let me drink of water. Okay, so let's start off by making sure that we've got the foundations down. Drop it. Yeah, that's it. Okay, the main thing we want to do is we want to make sure that we get a nice balance between heaven and earth. So let's do that with the opening breathing sequence. Okay, but before we do that, let's just do a little bit of shaking. You can make some sounds if you like. Let's just loosen up here a bit. Get a nice shake, any areas of tension, just give it a really good shake. Try and get the shaking right down to your feet and down to your fingertips. Okay, very good. So now it's checking in with heaven and earth, all right? So let's get those feet nicely planted on the ground. You want the feet to be parallel, not out this way. You want them nice and parallel. And let's get that weight between the heel and the ball of the foot, and let's open up kidney 1. Okay. Right, excellent. Okay, so now let's see if we can get that feeling of being rooted right down into the earth. Okay, this is very important for the earth element, and anxiety and worry, that's related directly to the earth element. So we can do that by bringing the breath into the lower hara, or the lower abdomen, into the dantian, this magical point here, just below the navel, and it's about 1.5 inches below the navel, so it's around about here. You can place this part of your hand right over that area, that's an energy center in your hand. And let's just do some breathing to start with. Let's just really relax. Come on, let's relax our shoulders, relax our upper body. And just settle everything down and bring our awareness down into our center here. Open up those feet. Okay. Bring your breath down into the lower hara. Okay. And then as we breathe out, send your attention or your energy down the legs, right down into the ground as far as you can. Very good. Another one, breathing in. Relax our shoulders, send that breath down, down, down. Keep those hips relaxed, keep the knees relaxed, send your energy down through that bubbling spring point, down into the earth. Very good. Okay, one more, breathing in. Okay, now if you're feeling fearful, this is the core exercise for this, because it tonifies the kidney energy, which is related to fear in Chinese medicine. Okay, so if you get that fearful feeling coming in, this is the base exercise. If you're feeling anxious, take that energy, send it down your legs and into the earth, and that will increase the earth element connection, which is good for the earth element, and that's related to the anxiety and the worry emotion. Okay, so we've done 2 jobs with one exercise here, breathing in and then breathing out. Okay, how's it feeling? Try and get your leg off the ground. Oh, feel stuck? Okay, is it really easy to get your foot off the ground? In which case, send that breath down and imagine you've got a root right down through your feet and down into the center of the earth that keeps you kind of stuck to the earth. Okay, good. So now we've anchored our yin, we can free up our yang. That's this upper body connection with the heavens. So let's do this breathing exercise now. And what we'll do is we'll do a few breaths emphasizing the connection with the earth, and then we'll switch it into opening up to the yang connection with the heavens. Ready? Okay, so relax the arms. Keep those feet locked into the ground. Nice and rooted. Very good. Okay, so now breathing in. Lifting the arms up. They just float up. And breathing out. The arms go down. Okay, feel heavy. Let's feel heavy and let's sink down into the earth. Okay, and now we're going to push up. Imagine you're very heavy. Imagine you're pushing up from your legs, keeping your legs open and relaxed. Very good. Breathing in. Breathing out. Get that solid feeling in our legs. Get that solid feeling of connection with the earth. Very, very good. Okay, so now we're going to take the top of our head, bring our attention there, and imagine a thread going up into the heavens. And we're going to kind of just let that suspend us. Let's do a little bit of shaking here. Keep those legs connected to the earth and let the upper body just move freely. And then just let it move freely. Open up any joints that feel a little bit blocked. Okay. Very good. Okay, so now we're going to go floating down. We've got this nice and solid, and now we're going to get the connection with the yang. Okay, connecting here, breathing in, float down. Okay, breathe out. Slowly pull yourself up from your head top. Relax the neck. Relax the base of the cranium. Relax the jaw. Okay, breathing in. Very good. Okay, keep it nice and free. Okay, one more, breathing in. Keep that head top really relaxed and float it up. I'll do it from the side so you can see what I'm doing. And floating down, let's just do one more breathing in and then breathing out. Okay, now you might find your hands get quite tingly and quite warm for doing that. That's because the chi is starting to build in your arms. That's really good. And we've got the nice connection with the earth. So we've got that feeling of freedom in the upper body and solidity in the lower body. Okay, excellent. Okay, now, as we know, most of you are feeling it in the middle heater, and most of you are feeling that either anxious or frustrated feeling, and that's because it's all middle burner stuff. Establish this. This is for the fear, the connecting down helps the anxiety, okay? So one of the major things we have to do is release this area here, okay? Basically, any twisting exercise is good because it opens the channel all the way from the leg, all the way up through the side of the body and into the head. Okay, so any twisting exercise like that is really good for middle burner. So let's start off doing that. Before we do it, let's just check and see what our middle burner feels like if we palpate it. So if we palpate here, is it sensitive at all around here? Does it feel stiff? Does it feel painful in any area? You just get a sensation of what that whole area is like. And at the end of the exercises, we'll see how much has changed. Okay, so here we go. Head held upright, legs nice and solid again, into the earth. We're going to keep the hips fairly straight because what we want is we want the twisting to release this area here, okay? So turning. And what we're doing is we're concentrating on the middle burner and we're relaxing it with the breath. We're keeping the breath quite slow. As we're breathing out, we're relaxing the whole of this area here. Now you can see if you do it a little bit more vigorously, you can start kind of tapping the side of your body, and that's where the liver channel runs. So liver and gallbladder channel runs. So that's quite a good add-on to the exercise. Okay, very good. Okay, now an addition to that is we can shift our weight over the way we're going. So you see what I'm doing? So as you go to the left, you shift it over and twist a little bit more. So you're making it more active in the legs, and you're still looking the way that you're going. Very good. Okay, excellent. Okay, we're going to come back to the front. Okay, tune into this area again. Maybe a little bit less sensitive, a little bit free around here just because of that twisting. I'm going to come back to that and we're going to do some routines for the stomach and spleen meridians towards the end, where we're going to link up the whole of the yang channel with the stomach and spleen. Okay? Before we do that, let's make sure we take care of the upper heater. So if any of you are feeling a little bit sad or a little bit kind of detached and shocked, then that's more to do with the upper heater. Okay? And that's because the lungs are related to grief and sadness, and the heart's related to kind of the shock mechanism and things like that. So if you're feeling a little bit shocked and out of it, that's more related to the heart. Okay, so let's regulate the upper heater, and then we'll go back and we'll do some really thorough exercises all the way for the stomach channel. Okay, so should we do it? So let's do these exercises. We're going to first of all just stimulate the lungs with this lung exercise. This is a very good medical Qigong exercise for the lungs. They do it in China in big hospitals for people with lung diseases, and it's really simple, but it's very specific. You keep your feet shoulder width apart again, feet parallel. Bring your arms up, turn your thumbs out, open up this part of your upper body and drop your arms back. Okay, as we're doing this, we're keeping those legs connected into the earth as solid as we can, and we're freeing up the upper heater. Nice slow breathing. As we breathe out, we're opening up the lungs, opening up this chest area here. Okay, if I do it from the side, you can see what I'm doing. I'm just lifting my arms up, dropping them back. Very little effort required. The main thing is concentrating on opening this whole area here as your arms go back. Very good. Okay, and we're going to slowly let our arms go down. Okay, you can feel a kind of warm opening feeling here, which is the opposite of this body posture that comes in when we're feeling sad. Typically, when we feel sad, we bring our shoulders forwards and we hunch like this. So this opening movement helps with that feeling of sadness and kind of isolation. Okay, so it's a really important energy movement there. Okay, I'm going to open that. We're going to extend that by doing our pericardium and our heart stretches. Remember those? So we're going to bring our arms forwards. Whoops, poor old plant, just move over a little bit. Breathe, bring arms in, breathe out. Okay, aiming for our middle finger here. Now feel that stretch deep into the chest. Okay, and then relax. Okay, that opens the pericardium channel, relates right directly connected through facial pathways with the pericardium. So breathing in, breathing out. Very good. One more, breathing in. Okay, and that opening movement there is very good for opening up the heart. Again, emotionally, it opens us up this way. Okay, we need plenty of that right now. Okay, and for the heart channel, which is more the interior channel that goes into here, there's a couple of ways of doing it. There's this way, where we bring our arms out, bring your little finger up, so it's like this, okay? We're going to twist our arm around this way, and you'll feel it when, so if I do it from the side, I'm twisting my arm this way around, yeah? If we hold our arms out, bring your little finger upmost, breathe in, breathe out, and twist your arm backwards, rotate it backwards. See if you can feel a line of tension into the armpit, and that's the heart channel, okay? So that's one. Relaxing, breathing in, breathe out. Okay, and breathe in, and breathe out. Okay, very, very good. So that's the upper heater. Okay, we have lower heater, middle heater, and upper heater. So now what I'd like to do this week is I'd like to spend a bit of time joining up the dots, because we've done the yang channels before, but what we don't do very often is connect all the yang channels right away from the head to the feet. And that's a really good way of working on what a lot of us are feeling, which is that feeling of like anxiety and things like that. So we're going to calm that right down, and we're going to do it by working the yang channels of the head, and then I'll show you how you can connect those channels right down into the feet. Okay, so let's go. So if you remember from previous weeks, we've basically got the front of the head related to the stomach channel, the sides of the head related to the gallbladder channel, which is related to the liver, and the front and back of the heads are related to the bladder channel, which runs all the way down the back and into the feet. The two we want to really concentrate on are the gallbladder channels on the sides of the body and the stomach channel on the front. Okay, so let's do a quick routine on the face, and then what we'll do is we'll trace the channels down all the way down into the legs. Okay, so let's do that. So this area here is where the bladder channel runs. So let's just press around the forehead, nice and relaxed. Okay, and now we can work the temples and the side of the heads by pressing in. And if you remember, Kat was describing how the eyes are linked to the liver in Chinese medicine. So if we place our hands over the eyes and then just relax our eyes as much as we can, that has a calming feeling, doesn't it? Then we can work around the gallbladder area or the sides of the head. Okay, and then we can work down onto the back of the neck. So I'll turn around and see what I'm doing. What I like to do is link my fingers together, and when squeeze in, if we squeeze near to the neck here, that's the bladder channel. That's related to the nervous system, obviously, through the spine. Okay, and if we move our hands out a little bit further, you'll find that there's like an indentation here, and that's a really important point here for the eyes and for the head in general, for the headaches and things like that. This is gallbladder 20, and we can gently press in here if you've got the flexibility in your shoulders. So just tip your head back and just gently press in around here. So we just do that 3 times with the breath. So breathing in, breathing out, pressing gently in, and you're aiming up towards the opposite eye. And if you get it right, you can kind of feel a sensation into the opposite eye. Breathing in, breathing out. Okay, and then we can follow it up by squeezing down the gallbladder channel here in the neck. Okay, very good. Excellent. Okay, and so that's the gallbladder and the bladder channels. So, meridian of the week, by popular demand, is the stomach channel. Okay, so here's a few hints to help your anxiety. First of all, the stomach channel is obviously related to digestion. It starts off up here, and it's to do with chewing. So a big no-no, everyone, is looking at the news, reading the paper, or even just listening to the radio, listening to the news while you're eating. You want to stop that immediately. Any eating should be completely as peaceful and as relaxing as you can. And that will really help the level of anxiety, because what you want to do is you want to make sure that when you're eating, you're in a relaxed, stress-free environment, and really make a priority of that. Okay, even when you're having a snack during the day, just find a quiet place to do it. And what you want to do is make sure that these channels are really open. And one of the things we can do is self-shiatsu. So let's do that. The stomach channel runs around the chin here, around the teeth here. Okay. Okay, it runs here. It goes right here into the jaw, and this is what can get obstructed with anxiety. So you're worried, you start tensing your jaw. So make sure that this area is really released. Okay, and then we go round here. Okay, now what we might want to do is also work around the upper jaw here. I'm working around the upper teeth. Can you see that in here? It's because the whole jaw area is the start of the digestive tract. And in fact, the stomach channel starts right in the eye and it comes down here. If you just feel around here, underneath the cheekbone here, there's a very important stomach point that's used for eye problems. Right, it should be directly under the eye and in this indentation here. Yeah, so if you just press around underneath your cheekbones here, you're going to get it. Okay, now what does that feel like? Quite a lot freer, doesn't it? And kind of more relaxed. Okay, so then the next thing, you're probably not surprised to hear that the stomach channel runs along here near the throat, obviously where we're eating, where the food goes down. And what can happen is this SCM muscle here can get very tight. And I'll just show you what it looks like. If I go like this, go, you can see how that tightens up this whole area here. I'm gritting the teeth and I'm tightening up the SCM muscle. And this is a characteristic posture that you get built in if you worry too much. Okay, so we want to try and release this by using self-shiatsu. What I like to do is get my thumb and knuckles like that and just literally squeeze the SCM muscle like this. See how I'm getting hold of it like that? There, it's this muscle down here. You can see it quite clearly there. That stomach channel runs right along that line there. Okay, so we're just going to squeeze down there a few times. Very good. Okay, so that's the stomach channel in the head and the neck. So what we're going to do now is we're going to pick it up on the body and we'll connect it up right down to the feet. Okay, so let's do it. So we come back here. I'm going to come back to standing. I'm going to get my feet nicely connected to the earth again, because that's what we want to do. Now, if you feel these points here, open up your feet. And what I'd like you to do is just see if you can get a feeling of how connected this channel is in your head and neck, right down into your feet. And there's a good chance that somewhere around here, it just doesn't quite feel like it's connected. And that's what we're going to do in the next 15-20 minutes. We're going to make sure that this whole feeling down the front of our body is nice and smooth and connected. And that's the key to reducing the way that anxiety and worry can affect us. Okay, so let's do it. We're going to go from here and we're going to just tap the upper part of the chest, because the channel runs here. It runs down through the front of the chest here. So we can do this bit here. Just tapping and opening. Okay, and we pick it up down here, just in line with the nipple, down this front part of the body. We can tap or use loose fists. The stomach channel runs here and the associated channel is here. So let's just do those. Okay, very good. So now what we need to do now is, now that we've got this down to here, is we want to really work on this upper part of the abdomen, which is the middle burner. Okay, so let's do this first exercise. We're going to shake our hands, rub our hands together and shake them out. And we're going to do clockwise motions around the whole digestive system. Really calming, relaxing, and calming, relaxing, and calming. I'm using a little bit of pressure and I'm just going around clockwise around the direction of the bowel. Very good. Okay, so now we're going to do a little bit of Anpuka therapy, which we started last week. That was new last week. And that's using our hands just to directly massage or give pressure to the digestive system. We're going to go around in a clockwise direction. Very, very straightforward. I'll just try and get a reasonable close-up for you around about here. Yeah, so, okay. So what we do is we just press in with the fingertips, and we're going to go round a circle like that, gently pressing in. Okay, now when you get round to here, this is more or less where the stomach is. So you want to make sure that you really relax your hands, make sure that we press in around this area. If there's any tension or feeling of discomfort around here, it's probably because the stomach organ is kind of tight there, and that's a favorite one when you get stressed and anxious for that to tighten up. Okay, so we want to really relax that area there. Okay, now if we go down around here, I'm going round the rib cage here. This is the descending colon. So if you're getting any IBS or any digestive problems like diarrhea or constipation, this is a good place to work around here. I'm just pressing in with one hand, and this hand's just adding a little bit of extra pressure. Okay, we get down here, and now we're going on the way up. This is the ascending colon. Again, just holding any areas, just relaxing it with the breath. Any areas of tension or discomfort, we're just going to breathe out and release it. Okay, right, there we go, round we go. Okay, now more in the middle, we've got the small intestine, and that's really worth relaxing too. That's all around the navel here. So we're just going to press in. Ooh, okay, I found a bit of a tender spot there. So breathing out. You can also do this lying down. If you want to do it lying down, you've got gravity with you then, and it can help sometimes if you don't want to use your arms to press into the abdomen, okay? Okay, very good. Let's just do a few more circles. Okay, shake our arms out, give them a bit of a break. Okay, so now let's just check in with that continuity thing and see whether we're getting anywhere. Okay, feel the jaw again. Feel around the cheekbones. Feel around the lower part of the jaw. Squeeze the SCM muscle. Relax our legs. Press down here through the chest, up front of the chest, and into the abdomen. Okay, now if you just relax, can you see what I mean? You get more of a sense of continuity all the way down there, and that's really important for the functioning of the digestive system, and also that connection through there into the digestive organs sends a message to your brain that you are safe and that you can relax, and that will reduce the level of anxiety and reduce any digestive problems, okay? So we've done this connection here. This is new, we've not done this before, and we're going to pick up with what we often do, which is working the middle burner down into the legs, and then we'll have a whole smooth flow of energy all the way down the front of the body, okay? Which will be awesome, okay? And really help everyone this week. So now we're going to go from here, we're going to go down the outside front of the legs. Now I know some of you are very particular, you want to know exactly where the channels are. They're very wide, the channels, you can't really miss them. And the stomach channel runs along the outside front of the legs. And the spleen channel, which is the paired channel, runs up the inside front. So you're looking at this whole area here, you can't really miss, it's down and up, okay? And the same thing with the shins, it's just along the front of the shins, and then up the inside front of the shins. But what we're looking for is we're looking for a connection between here and the legs. So let's do it. Let's first of all tap lightly along the outside of the abdomen here. Okay, and then we go out onto the outside of the front of the legs, and this is the stomach channel, okay? Now, what I'd like you to do now is just do this. Relax your jaw, relax your throat, relax all the way down into your tummy. And just see if you can feel a connection, or even just imagine a connection all the way down through here and into the legs. Yeah, we're going to keep that as relaxed and as open as we can as we go down into the legs. Keeping it nice and open. Okay, remember this point, stomach 36, just on the outside of the shin by the knee there. That's an important point for the stomach channel. Okay, go down there. And now we're going to go up the inside of the legs, inside front of the legs. Spleen channel, that runs up here into the digestive system again. Okay, then we go down, round in a circuit. Keep this whole feeling relaxed. Just imagine you've had a lovely meal in the most calm, beautiful place, and you feel really satisfied and relaxed all the way down. And we're just going to emphasize that feeling all the way down. Really relax. Picking it up here again. Down. And then up. And back up the abdomen. Okay, very good. Then brush down 3 times down the front of the legs. Okay, so there we are. Just shake out a little bit. Okay, now let's just close your eyes for a second, and I'd like you to track the feeling from your jaw, down the front of your throat, down the front of your body, through the diaphragm, into the digestive area, down through the hips and down the legs and into the feet. Now, if you can feel a sensation, like a tingling kind of sensation of connection all the way down, even a little bit, that is absolutely awesome, because that means you've opened up and you've kind of energized the stomach channel. So all we've got left to do now is just work the feet, and we'll have a perfect connection all the way down. So I'll just adjust my camera so I can get a decent angle down here. I think that will do. Okay, so just going to take my socks off so you can see exactly what we're doing. So you might want to sit on a chair. If you can reach your feet, that's great. If you can't, then we just have to imagine that we're doing this. Okay, so the stomach channel runs down the foot and it runs into this toe here, and the spleen channel runs this way into this toe. So these 2 toes here connect up and into the digestive system. So we want to focus on those. But first of all, let's just open up our feet by bringing the fingertips into the foot, like this. Open up. Okay, we're going to work down the yang channels of the foot. They all run down this way. They'll kind of all run down here. So let's just do this one first. This is the bladder channel, the one that runs right from the eyes all the way down the back. And then we have the gallbladder channel. Maybe next week we'll do a big special on the gallbladder, because that's the second most favorite element that you chose this week. So we've got the gallbladder. We've got this one here. That's a triple heater. And then we've got these 2. So let's make a very big, bigger focus on these ones. So what we're doing is we're going down towards this toe here. That's the second toe. Okay, so we're going to go down here. The stomach channel actually runs through here, through this little point here. Can you see that at the front of the foot? And it runs down into this toe here. So I'm just using both thumbs, massaging down. My fingertips are opening up the bottom of the foot at the same time. Very good. Very good. Okay, and then down here. And then if you bring your foot round this way, this whole area of your foot here, this is where the spleen channel runs. So we want to make sure that we get this a really good working. You can probably see, hopefully, where this is. This is just around there. This big bone is here. That's an important point there in the spleen channel. So I'm working like this. Okay, very important to work the feet, because the earth element is not surprisingly is all concerned with related to grounding and feeling your feet on the earth and all that kind of thing. Okay, it's also connected to overthinking and things like that. So a lot of these points here are used for headaches. If you do too much thinking, too much studying, and you get a headache, then you can use points like this one here for headaches around the front of the head, because the channel connects right up to the front of the head there. And that's a principle of acupuncture and shiatsu, is we tend to work distal points for extreme symptoms. So if you've got headaches, we tend to work the feet and the hands to get the kind of energy away from the head. Okay, very good. So let's do the other foot. I'm just massaging it, opening it up. Doesn't that feel good? Okay, and then we're going to go down. We're going to start off with the bladder channel. This is the one that runs down to the little toe. Give the little toe a bit of a squeeze. Second little toe is gallbladder channel. That's the one to the sides of the head. We have the triple warmer channel in the middle. And then these two are your spleen and stomach toes, right? This is your stomach toe, and this is your spleen toe. So we work down here. What I'm doing is I'm working down, squeezing down here to there, and then down onto this area here. Okay, very good. Excellent. A little bit of a tap. Right, really good. Okay, so there's a little routine for the feet, focusing on the stomach and spleen channels. So now what we really need is we just need a few stretches that will help us integrate the whole of the work that we've done. And so let's do that. I'll just pop the camera back down. There we are. Okay, excellent. So what we've done is we've started off by doing the 3 burners. And what we've done is we've done a whole face routine for the stomach and spleen channel. We've worked the channel through the front of the body, connected it with the digestive system. We've done a really good Anpuku series, abdominal massage series for the abdomen. And we've done connecting down through the stomach and spleen channels in the legs, and then the feet. So hopefully now, if we do a few stretches, we'll get that whole continuous feeling down the channel, which will set us up really well for this week. Basically, any stretch that stretches the front of the body is going to help the stomach and spleen channel, okay? Because it runs down the front of the body. So there's quite a wide range of different things we can do, and I'll just suggest a few to you. The most basic one we can do in the standing position is to bend this way and backwards, okay? So it's really basic. We can do that first, okay? So what I'm going to do is, I don't think you can see my hands as they go out of shot, but I'm breathing in, okay, bring my arms up, breathing out, and I'm just leaning back, stretching up. Just going to adjust the camera a little bit so you can maybe see a little bit more of my arms. That's better, yeah. Okay, take it easy on the lower back, keep it really easy. The main emphasis we're doing here is opening and stretching the front of the body. Okay? So let me talk you through it. Breathe in, stretch your hands up, lift up your head top, stretch the front of your neck open, open up the front of the body, open the abdomen, stretch the front of the legs, and see if you can feel a connection all the way from your fingertips, all the way down into your toes. Breathing out. Okay, counter stretch, just stretching out. Breathing in and breathing out. Stretching the head up, opening the throat, relaxing the front of the body, feeling that stretch all the way down the front of the body. We balance it out by leaning forward. And breathing in and then breathing out. Lift that head top up, open up the throat, feel a stretch right down the whole front of the body. Okay, do you get the idea? So you can feel that whole stretch. Here's some alternative things you can do. You can do the cow-cat exercise like this, which is breathing in, okay, breathing in, stretching the back up, and breathing out, bringing the head top back. And you'll feel the stretch from here all the way down, not quite into the legs, but certainly to here. Breathing in, breathing out. Breathing in, breathing out. Okay, and if you want to do some yoga exercises, the cobra exercise, any of those exercises that open up the front of the body all the way up are going to be really, really useful for that. So, and in fact, if you look online, there's a whole load of active yoga sites that show you the links between yoga and meridians. Okay, so let's just check in again one last time. Okay, and what we're looking for as we stand here naturally is we're looking for a continuity between the head and the feet, a calmness in our whole body, particularly relaxed around here, but also a sensation of being really connected into the earth. And if you can get that feeling, you'll find that it's going to reduce your whole anxiety level by a huge amount, and you'll be feeling much more centered and much more connected to the earth. Okay, great. I hope you enjoyed this week's class. Just got 2 minutes to find out how you are and whether you feel any more balanced. And I'm just going to put that up. Let's have a look. How do you feel now? I'll share that with you now. And I'm just having a quick look. Great. Yeah. Okay. Thanks, Kat, for being in the chat. You can see the chat's been really active again. And let's have a quick look at the poll. How did we do this week? Okay. So we had a couple of people that felt about the same. Okay. So I recommend that you just practice this. If you are one of those people that've got other meridians involved, then we'll obviously address them more next week. What I'd like to do maybe next week is we'll do another poll and we'll perhaps focus on the liver and the gallbladder, because that's the second most requested meridian. Okay, my big advice for the stomach and spleen meridian is be very careful what you bring in terms of information, because in Chinese medicine, the stomach and spleen meridian is to do with taking in food, but also taking in information. So my recommendation would be to ration the amount of news that you read. Just try and keep it to the minimum and see if you can get some more positive inputs coming in. Maybe read some poetry, read a novel, read something that can bring nourishment is what we want, positive nourishment into our energy to balance that out. And that's what that's what Chinese medicine is telling us. Okay, great. Thank you very much. Thanks very much for all the activity in the chat. And I'm just going to put a big thank you, big thumbs up to everyone for joining us. Yeah, watch opera, says Elizabeth. Excellent. Yeah. Okay, it's great to see so many familiar names in the chat. And yeah, I'll see you next week for another Wednesday class.